Okay, hello. What I'd like to do is go over the schematic. All right, this is called a Kabbalistic tree of life. Now, I've shown you this before, and a lot of people show you this, but it's not just a picture. All right, and a lot of what you're shown and told is just an interpretation of this particular schematic, but without any real detail that you can actually take and say, okay, now I can understand that. All right, because let me tell you something. You are a product of what you believe to be true. All right, you are a product of what you believe is real. Right, your life force, whatever you want to call it, your energy, is solely dependent on what you believe to be true and what you place as being important. Therefore, you give your strength, your power, and your life to it. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and draw this differently so that it makes a little bit more sense to you. So I'm going to put that first cap on, and that would be your 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to put the downward triangle, which leads into the 6. All right, this will all be filled out later, but that leads into the 6th spot. This leaves an open space, which reflects over here to the idea of knowledge. Right, this is empty. All right, because if you're not made aware of something, you have no knowledge of it. So you have to be very careful. And you have to be very careful of what you allow to be taken into your mind and considered to be knowledgeable or to be considered to be true. Because I'm telling you, if you look at something, you consider something to be true and real and fact, then you have to live by that. That is a life's rule now. Because then if you believe something is true, and then you dismiss it, well, you're just shifting and drifting in the breeze, right? And then that's where all the nonsense and what's called the red herrings and conspiracy theories within a hoax come from. It's just wasted so-called knowledge because it's based on an untruth. All right, so continuing. So anyways, your next one down would be here, which connects your 4, 5, and your 6. All right. Then this goes into your 6, 7, 8. Remember this 6 into 7. I've talked to you about this before. That would be called what's called Ramsey's theorem, or the theory of time, the idea of coming into existence. All right. So then from 6 to 7, that's that point of the pyramid. That's the illumination or the eye. All right. So then what lights up your space? And this cube, this space would be your mind, okay, for this example. All right, so then into the 6 into the 7, and then the 7 into the 8, or the transformation into the cube, all right, into the encapsulation. Let me continue so you can actually see this better. Then that leads down into your 9, all right, and then down, of course, finally into the 10, or what you... The 9, remember, is nothing more than the TED, or the offensive information that you allowed to filter through this cube or your mind, and then it became your kingdom. It became what you are ruled by. All right? All right, so let me add the posts, the pillars, all right, the left and right, the pillar. And then you notice right here in this lime green, in the limelight, all right, you'll notice that it appears to be an envelope, and you know that an envelope holds communication, it holds words, it holds information which somebody is sending to another person in order for that person to read and understand, and some action is required. All right. So then let's talk about that envelope, all right, and what that entails. So I'm going to add the spaces, or the circles, which indicate your numbers of course, 1, 2, 3, all right, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Remember again, the one that's holding out here by itself not attached to anything, is what's called death or knowledge. Because if you believe in things that are not true, you're just kidding yourself. It's death. It's wasted energy. It doesn't, and it will never amount to anything. It just doesn't matter. All right. So anyways, I've tried to talk to you several times about this information on different videos, and I've gone about it several different ways for many years now. And I'm hoping now that people are starting to see that all these stories that people continue to go to look at as if one day they're going to be true, these stories on the Freemason news channels, all right, they're hoaxes, they're lies, they're control mechanisms, all right, because you need the Blue Lodge Masons, which is your fire and your police and your security forces. They need to be empowered by you being disenfranchised from your freedom, all right? And the only freedom that you can control is your mind, all right? So you need to be free in Christ. You need to be free in the true light of the world, all right? I've told you that before. So anyways, what I'm going to, if here by this CERN, in this discern video I've shown you before, I built a system and I put it into action, and it created this same, what's called the tree of life. You can see it right there within the screenshot. The only thing that's missing, of course, is your one position on top, and that is because this is just a machine. You're not a machine. Therefore, you're going to have an illumination at the top. But other than that, this is a representation of this system as best you can get without it actually being a live person. All right. And this will go through, and you will see the green man standing. In fact, you see his legs and his arms and his head. You see the man trapped in the system. If you just look at it, you see him standing there. All right. And now a lot of hoaxes take this idea that I'm trying to show you here, the Shroud of Turin hoax, is a representation of what I'm showing you here, of the idea of the green man locked in the system, the hangman. The reason why with all these shooting hoaxes they always have the guy with the crossed leg is that's representing this X. It's representing the crossing into the belief of that idea. And that cube, remember I told you that the 6, all right, is the idea of the square or the cube is 6 sides with 8 corners. And that's very important to understand, all right? Because then if you take that cubed information, that envelope, that containment, and then you allow that to become your tet, or the idea of the offensive information that goes in. If it's a lie, it's offensive, it's not real. Then that, of course, I told you before, becomes your kingdom, all right? So let me add the numbers in so that you can see this. I've told you all this before, so this is nothing new. Please go back to these videos and to my numbers videos if you'd like more on this. This is especially this time loops or time tones and loops is a good one to watch. If you're really ready to go, you'll want to watch this Adam and Eve one. But you know, just take it at your own pace, because if you just want to keep going back to these channels that show you the hoaxes over and over and over again, and don't go into the schematic of the mind itself, you'll never understand what's going on. All right, because you have to get above what you're trying to look at to get the best view. All right. So anyways, then let me show you then the 1, 2, 3 into the 6, the 5, 4, 6, 7, 8 into the 30. All right, the 9. All right, the 1, 0, 1. All right, so then when you add those up, you create what's called the 47, or you add up to a 47. Now remember, I told you that you have within that trap system, you have your 777 or the 21 code, which is the 3. all right, which is that idea, which is going into that false light, all right, which is the binah, or the negative light, the black hole sun type idea. That then leads you directly into the cube or into the lie. But adding all this up into one system, recall, you've seen this before, what do you get when you put the 4 sevens together? You get what's called the swastika. So now you know that this isn't about some nonsense, about some army running across Europe. All right. Now you can go even beyond all the hoax lies of what's called World War, and you can understand that even that is a lie. This is a massive lie that you have been told. All right. It's much bigger than than bus crashes and hoax mall shootings. This is much bigger than all that. All right. So if you want to get to this point and understand what I'm talking about, I suggest you take the time to really go outside of your comfort zone. Go completely outside of what you believe is true. Go completely outside of your one eye right here, that so-called knowledge that you hold on to. All right? And understand, and you will learn that it is a hoax and you've been lied to on a huge scale. And then you can go into the 9/11 destruction tune code, tone and octave, and understand verbal distortion. I've gone through and I've done all this so that you can use this work if you like, and then you can recreate it yourself, and to see that it is in fact what is really happening. All right. And guess what? Let me explain this to you so that there's no hurt feelings. When you leave this system, you're going to become isolated. People aren't going to talk to you. All right? Because they love the system. They love the lie better than they love you. All right? Because you're speaking the truth to them, but it sounds so horrible to them, because everything that they held dear, everything that they ever held dear is being taken from them. And they're not going to go without a fight. All right? But then that's not where you need to live. All right? Once you break free of that world, you will not go back. And yes, you will become isolated. And yes, it will seem lonely. You know what? But guess what? You're just out here waiting for the rest of those trapped souls to break themselves free. Because you're in the right place once you've broken free of the lie system. You're in the place you need to be. Because nobody will fool you, right? Right? And then you'll go through all these, you'll be able to do your own investigations on all the different aspects of the hoax system. You'll be able to go back in and to look and to say, okay, is this true? Is this true? If not, you dismiss it. And it doesn't matter to you. But I tell you what, there's a lot of backbiters still in the system, and there's a lot of people who claim to understand the truth of the system that in fact do not. And in fact, this is one of the biggest ones. If somebody claims to be free of the system and they open up their video with that stupid JFK quote, just shut them off, because they're not free. They don't even realize that was a hoax. That was a dummy, man. That was a pumpkin head. That was a pumpkin head dummy. All right? Because if you took the time, and this is just a quick aside because I only have less than a minute, but if you do a quick aside and you actually watch that video, after you get past the pumpkin head dummy, then you're okay, great, nobody died, nobody got hurt. Then look in the background and you see those two people dancing on the grass. They're doing the idea of the eternal wave together. All right? And that's an idea, that's a representation, that's a dance of what's called the 69, which is this center pillar. Remember, because you take the 9, 1, 1, you drop that 0. That 0 it goes into this spot. And if you activate it, that's your 911 system. All right? So Don't fall into the hoax. Bye.